Yes, I am your host, Nicole, with my sidekicks. Yes, both of them. Stephanie and Tina are in the house today, and I'm excited to welcome her back. And I'm excited to be frank with you guys that we got next week off. I'm going to be completely honest. Doing the 30 days, then doing the episodes, and then, everything going on. I'm looking forward to it, to reset so that way we can come back in June with a new month of taboo subjects that need to be talked about to help empower you on your awakening journey, really. So today I just want to open up real quick. We have a Sun conjunct Uranus today, a Kazemi, and just hearing the word Kazemi just feels so loving and beautiful. So, really with today's forecast, for me it's hitting me in all kinds of fun ways, but with it being my anniversary and 34 years since my mother's passing, and then knowing that this beautiful Kazemi is happening. So the Sun Kazemi Uranus is something that hasn't happened in our lifetime, at least on this panel. It's been since like 1940 or something like that. So it's really great on bringing clarity, truth, internal breakthroughs. It could feel like emotionally intense because you got to think Uranus is the innovator, the rebellion, the like, we're going to kind of go in and blow it out of the water if it doesn't fit energy. And then you have Sun, which is like success, can also be ego, it could be identity. But there's a really real beauty to it because if we're allowing ourselves to flow in the energy, then whatever is going to be disrupted is going to be in the knowing that of a relief of like, oh, finally this chapter or this person or this situation is complete, and kind of having a newer understanding to what that looks like. It's very, very revealing and also very liberating. Um, so today's energy asks us to stop abandoning ourselves internally. Um, Truths will rise very, very quickly. So have a notepad and pen next to you, because what's going to be coming up is going to be kind of important messaging that we're going to be able to utilize with this energy moving forward. And this energy is really asking to be honest, not to be perfect, but to be honest on what is coming up for me to own, honor, release, right? So ladies, with that, I feel like it's a great transition into what today's episode is about, which is the unity found within. We've already talked about spiritual warfare. We've talked about what was the other one? T that we talked about Monday.
Yes, fear and
What was the
my
word?
God,
I know, guys, it's been such a week. This is what I'm
Bypassing,
talking. Oh,
spiritual
spiritual
bypassing.
bypassing.
bypassing. Yes, spiritual bypassing the warfare, and now today's. Yeah, that's funny. I forgot the entire week.
It goes to tell you guys, though, that life is shifting very, very quickly. Like, there's so many layers that are being explored or exposed right now, collectively and individually, that really grounding and giving ourselves grace is really, really important. So, like, when I speak about the energy forecast, it's like just ground, allow, um, be honest on what's coming up, and know that it's beautiful energy to work with because we've got the full moon, guys, coming to our blue moon because it's going to be our second moon of the month, which is very identifying in itself as well of the changes that are happening collectively. Because the last blue moon that we had, I believe, was in August of 2024. You could fact check me on that. I'm pretty confident that I'm pretty spot on with that. So it's been a couple of years. So this energy is really re-stabilizing things. And guys, also keep in your notepad what is going to be turning the corner come July 18th, 19th time period. There's going to be a definite collective and individual turning point that's going to happen. It's going to be good energy. Doesn't mean that everything's going to be great and right away, but people are going to be going back to not the olden days where just horse and carriage and no cars, but you're going to see people kind of going back to nature, grounding, like this is now happening. There's no more we're waiting for it. It's now actively happening because food crisis is real. A lot of medical things that are going on is real. So that shift is definitely happening right now. Um, and guys, while I'm doing all this jabber, John, how are you guys feeling with all of this going on personally?
I'm in
If you
a
guys could see
I
the faces.
I'm just processing that question because I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Just a lot of stuff going on personally with me and with some people who are really close to me. I'm going to be kind of vague right now at this point just because it's so fresh and new. Um, but a lot of um, moving inward and reflecting on things that have happened and why things are happening and um, how to move forward from those things and
New
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries and um, coming back to yourself.
Yep. Yeah, I think Stephanie, what I'll bridge off of you. I wasn't quite sure where I'd go with it today since I feel like I've said the same thing the last 2 days. Um, but it's for me, it's about that courage it takes to be open hearted and remain true to yourself in a really cruel world that really does reward bad behavior
Ugh,
or
you're so right.
defensiveness or like just it's like a dog who misbehaves and you say, let me give you a cookie to be, I'm rewarding the bad behavior as I'm yelling at the dog, right? But it's just the one thing I'm trying to hold true to is you just have to remain in your space with your beliefs, your values, without that level of disruption. Because for you, there is no reward for that level of disruption other than you've made it through the day, and other people are going to have to suffer for it at some point. And you've just being grounded and being in a space where you understand things differently, you'll be rewarded through that.
Yeah, it's almost like being more honest with ourselves on where are we abandoning ourselves and where are we honoring ourselves?
Yeah.
Where are we people pleasing and where are we choosing? And I think that between the Uranus and Gemini, which has a lot to do with communication, right? And what relationships and what is the words really carrying is a lot of it. I think a lot of us as a society, we're starting to be like actions speak louder than the bullshit words that you were telling me. And I think with that, we're having a lot of, with the Pluto retrograde energy, internalizing of an understanding of how is this going to impact me if I'm not standing true to myself.
Right.
If I am dishonoring myself for the sake of these other people kind of a thing, because the reality check is that by us standing in our truth and our boundaries, we're no longer enabling those bad habits or those people. We're no longer rewarding them anymore, right? Because we're standing in our truth. So if anything, it's going to expose their untruth.
Well, what's unfortunate is we've talked a lot about how grief can conquer or divide.
Oh,
And
goodness.
when I think about unity and, where some of us might get isolated or quiet or just go and sit in a space where we just need some time, unity really should be helping to pull us back into some form of a connection versus pulling us away. But again, because we live in such a divided world, I think unity gets lost just in just being a nice person.
Hmm.
Comes back to unity with ourselves. The true unity that we can have is within. I think that that's what we're being showed a lot with people around us, because I believe that if there's shitty situations happening, or if people want to use the example of shitty people, okay, well, where they can't be united within themselves. You know what I mean? They have to be feeling very divisive within themselves, which is why they are expressing that out. And I think that because there's been so much work and healing and honesty that we as individuals have been doing for ourselves, we're able to identify it more for what it is rather than necessarily allowing it to disempower us like it once did. Does that make sense? And I think that being able to see it now for what it is almost a little disheartening because it's like, was I better off into the Lululand where the blinders were on a little bit? And you
Mhm.
almost got to kind of sit with that because there's a rebellion that I feel that each of us, just on this panel, are really in right now. And not a rebellion of like, you hurt my feelings, I'm going to hurt yours, but more of you're consistently showing your ass this way. I now see it. So, though I may see you at a soul level or once knew you in a different way, this is not the person that I'm working with now. Like, are you
Yeah.
guys kind of noticing that? Like, I've noticed there's been clients and people and situations where I find myself bringing up this person today. Yes, I hear you speak a lot about this person in a great way of who they were 10 years ago. But is that this person today that's in front of us and
Mhm.
having to mourn that, oh my goodness, that might be very true, even within
I'm,
ourselves.
yeah, and I'm seeing that now in the situations that are unfolding.
So what I'm seeing is three frozen chicks on a screen. Can you guys hear me?
I can
I
hear you,
hear
but I
you.
see you frozen like Austin Powers.
Yeah, I am. And you're frozen like you're jumping in the air, and Stephanie's the only one who's got a normal face on right now.
I wouldn't have a
Um
normal face on even if it wasn't frozen.
Oh, there she went.
So Tina just went on a reprieve. She'll be right back in just a minute. But welcome, guys. My hair is nuts today. It's going insane, absolutely. But I'm liking the conversation because, like, when we're talking about unity found within, usually there was a point where there wasn't peace, right? There wasn't unity there within us. So there's kind of,
Mhm.
again, you guys always know I like to talk about the light, shadow, and growth because that's what's within everything. And when we're talking about, oh, Tina's coming back. And she's back, people. T, you look like you got some good color.
I'm the only one who got kicked out.
Yep.
Oh, we just thought that you booted yourself out. That's
No, I was in the middle of making a point. When I when I talk, I don't disappear. Um, I was just saying it's like it's remembering small tools that we've been talking about for a while now on how to stay true to yourself in these situations. So, always doing more listening than you do talking. Can't get yourself into a lot of trouble when you're doing more listening than you are talking. You're pausing. You're going to pause before that reaction because you're not quite sure what you're even reacting to. You're checking in with yourself emotionally, mentally, even your surroundings. You're just paying attention to what's happening. And then you're ready to get into that kind of repair mode. Once you've kind of taken it all in, it's all part of that healing process. So when I think about the tools we've been talking about over the last several months, those are the ones that stand out the most in how we can truly continue that healing pattern when you're looking at unity as a practice.
yes. And we were just saying when you got booted out, how unity first, where we, the light, shadow, and growth aspects, right? We obviously had to know what it looked like on the other end of it first in order for us to truly embody what unity looks like now, which is peace, clarity, authenticity, things that daily, guys, it's not like you just reach that moment and you're constantly in that place of peace. It's a reminder that just like people always say, I asked God for patience or whoever you speak to, and all I did was get pissed off. Well, not going to give you patience. He's going to give you things to be patient for, correct? Peace, same thing, right? Peace is going to matter more to me when I'm seeing the chaos for what it is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're kind of seeing it more play out. And I agree with you, T, because I don't know about you guys, but I could be a talker. And I'm learning that in listening a lot and observing, or even questioning more of what I'm experiencing taking that second has really opened up a lot of understanding things more than when we get so caught up in trying to solutionize, I like to use that word, out a situation. You can kind of really see more of the depths of what somebody's experience is. And I feel for counseling, that's really helped me in this area that we've been talking about because I always want to be solution based and make you feel better, but really diving into, say, Stephanie's experience, your experience lately, even my experience of there's deeper levels that are unfolding in this situation that I talked to you about even right before we came on. What personally was going on and seeing it more from a detailed layer rather than surface layer of what am I doing wrong. It's like you start to look at it from more of what am I observing here that's probably needing some honest communication, healing, and truth bombs, honestly, or boundaries.
When you listening is the hardest task to take on. I'm not gonna lie. Like there, it is very hard to shut your mouth in a time when you want to react or say something because you might know an answer because you may have gone through something similar, but as you listen further, you realize that really wasn't what I. That's not the same thing I went through. So that that could have been a bad conversation. But I think that unity can really is the meaning around community to me is a sense of direction and it's a sense of belonging beyond yourself. Like you are trying to unite with people who make you feel good, people that have the energy that you want to be around. No, I could be like a 5-year old and I love to do this to people. Show me when they say something like they're gonna do it. Show me. What do you mean show me? What do you want me to show me? Show me what you're gonna do. Show because actions to me do speak louder than words sometimes.
Yep.
So like a 2-year old, I'll sit there and say, show me. What'd you do? Show me. Remind me. What was it? Like I go through those patterns, but I have learned really stop putting somebody in such an uncomfortable situation and just pause. Just pause and let them think about why you're pausing. That pause is so uncomfortable. People in their mind play this their own mind game like why is she stopping? Why isn't she talking? Is she mad at me? Did she just see so like it's just very interesting the more comfortable you can get with just being in that moment. You might be thinking of like what I need to buy at the grocery store just in your own head while they're sitting there just chatting, making a lot of noise because they figure you've caught on to something.
Mhm.
They just
We
start
always
jumping
called
in
that the
red.
awkward silence.
I don't live in it, dude. It's so difficult to. It's so difficult to swim in those waters.
It is difficult, but I gotta tell you, it saved me from a lot of just raw arguments.
What?
Unneeded. They were not necessary. I could have figured it like it's just the energy is just yeah.
It's definitely eye opening. I've definitely slowed down a lot more and tried to be more observing, or if I'm dissecting it, more dissecting it myself in observation mode rather than in kid mode where it's like, show me, I want to know, I have this and this and this and this and this. So I can completely, like, you hit the nail on the head when you were sharing that. I was like, I could see that because I'm very much childlike, where, because I want to understand is where I'm coming from. But a lot of the times people will show you better than they could articulate it to you.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But show me.
Show me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I agree.
when my old team, we used to work. Are you guys familiar with like lean and how to? It's an old Toyota system that created lean systems on how to work. So you kind of learn how to work. You learn to do more with less. And one of the processes is what's called the 5 whys. And if you can't answer 5 whys, you don't have your answer. So my team used to get so aggravated with me. Now I'm making decisions to terminate people that are going to impact somebody's life. Like, I'm not just going to sit there and say trust that you've done your homework. So it would start with why? They'd answer it. Why? Answer it. Why? Silence. Okay, go back. You're not there yet. You're not there yet. I'm not going to let you terminate a colleague based off of the fact that this is what you assume took place. When you can answer the 5 whys, then we could talk about next steps. But that to me was a way to pause. That helped me in more than just one way at work. It was more of like, I use it in my personal life. I just challenge myself to see, what are you missing? Are you jumping right to judgment? Or are you allowing that opportunity to leverage those realities? Like, there's something missing in between, and I may not understand it, but it can't impact somebody's life in a negative way because I don't get it.
Well,
So
network has a multi-function too, right? Because you're helping regulate your nervous system.
absolutely.
At the same time, you're giving
Use it
your
in
body
any
the
way. It's multi dimensional. It's just a great tool because it does allow the pause.
Mm-hmm. It's so important. In corporate America, a lot of times I would notice that they wouldn't allow you the pause. Like it would be one of those things where it was like, this is what we said happening. We need to know an answer right now. Like you need to give us like this. You can't leave the room. And that way did not work for me because when you did that to me, I popped my lid a lot. I went into a lot of over explaining. I get a very feeling like, us, me and them kind of feeling. So even in whatever you're living today, if it's you're working under people, working for yourself, having that moment to really pause and identify, because a lot of the times our mind could be going into some old pattern that's playing out in this situation. So by Tina expressing the fact of the why is, okay, well, we're seeing the surface reason why. Now we're seeing just beneath one layer of a wire, but we can't get any further than that. All right, then what you're telling me is that this is something outside of here that's affecting your response to this situation. It's kind of how I picked it up. Does that
Yeah.
sound about it?
It just allows you, it forces you to be more thought provoking in your questions. It leads you down a path where you're like, oh my God, this person, I don't know, we'll just say somebody's always late to work. And then you find out they actually have a mental health illness, or, they're protected under the ADA and I'm about to tell them they don't have a job, or, there's ways to just take that moment and really go and just reflect and be like, why is this happening?
That moment of care could be everything for that employee too, of just being heard. You know what I'm saying? Like in that regard overall, because it's like by going a little deeper, a lot of people could just throw people away because it's easier, it's quicker. It's quicker to
Yeah.
just say, this is what this person is, and that's it, I'm done with it. But it's the people who can go just a little bit deeper and try to identify, okay, is this a personality trait here, or is this just a temporary situation that they may be experiencing? That if I can honor them that space time to figure it out, that might be the best employee that I end up having for the next 60 years.
Absolutely.
You
And
know
it
what I
works
mean?
well in the coaching space too, because where people get stuck on the why, then it allows me the time, buys me time. That's how I look at it. It buys me time in that moment to go, why are they stuck on this question? Like, and I'm going through my notes, trying to pick up on little things that I might have wrote down, and you just quickly like realize, all right, they're having some kind of reaction to this. You can see it because you could just see it on their face, but you're like, okay, we're not going to solve this today.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll give you a really classic example, and I know we have to be careful of time, but I think you'll appreciate this. I had an employee, I had gotten a call that he was throwing all hospital equipment into a dumpster. I was like, what? So I sent one of my team members down there. I'm like, I have to get on a call, but get down there and find out what's going on. She's just throwing computers and like things away. So I get a text, I come down there, and I realize, okay, now I know who I'm dealing with. This kid has got, there's something. I've been with this kid before. I know he's got problems. So I started with the 5 whys with him in as he's actively throwing stuff into the dumpster. And when he got to the 5th why, he was like, "What the hell am I doing?" I said, "I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out, but you can't throw hospital equipment in a dumpster." And he was like, "Oh." So he like I knew this kid suffered from some kind of mental health issues. And he was in a moment of some kind of either psychotic break or something was happening to him. And instead of jumping straight to we're going to terminate him, no, we're going to help him. He made a mistake. It's a big mistake. We're going to have to get all the shit out of a dumpster, but the kid stopped and realized it was like I snapped him out of like this nasty place in his mind. And then he ended up, there were repercussions, but it wasn't about losing his job. But I was just like, how could you? You can't just be throwing computers away, chairs. Like he was in a rage, and that's when I realized he was in a rage because he had thrown away a desk. So that was a heavy piece of like furniture. So in his mind, he was in a bad place where he had the strength to pick up a desk and just throw it away.
And if every place just had a breakout room, an actual room where you could break stuff, might even alleviate that, because that sounds a lot like a manic episode.
Yeah.
Where like you're doing all the actions and you're really, really fast in it. You're no longer connecting consciously to what your mind's doing.
That's exactly what it was. That's why I went in there and I just started with the stupid whys, and he was like, "Stop with the whys," and I'm like, "No, answer them. Tell me what you're doing."
Yep, you're snapping them right out of it, because what you're doing is you're taking something that's unconsciously happening and you're putting it into his awareness, even if he didn't want it in his awareness. It was you were breaking, like they say, the 4th wall or whatever.
Right. And the guy that works for me is like, "Dude, you better like call it soon because she's not going to give up. 5 whys can turn into 20. Trust me."
It could happen real fast, real fast.
Tina, I think this is a really good thing to do with ourselves.
Yeah. I do it all the time.
And just, why am I feeling this way? Why did I react this way? Why am I acting this way now? And just keep.
Sometimes that's my form of meditation stuff. Sometimes that's for me.
With the 2-year-old who's constantly asking us why, and it just keeps going and going and going. But here, so we can actually take that and use it ourselves.
Yep.
To figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Get to the layers, through the layers, so that way you can get to the core, the root of what's actually going on. Because a lot of people have been designed to live surface level. Because when you live surface level, you're evading what needs healing, but you're a workhorse.
Right.
But it also means that you are dangerous because you're going to be messy, because you're going to have outbursts that you're not going to necessarily understand that's happening when, say, a situation like that occurred that Tina was just talking about. If tools were available, or there was somebody that just took a minute to go a little deeper. I say this all the time, guys. If people could just have somebody just own up to something that they did, or just take a moment to have a conversation, it could be all the difference in that person's world for the rest of their days. Just as simple as an acknowledgement, it could be everything.
It is everything. And like I said, sometimes that's the way I meditate, is by asking the 5 whys, because for me it's about really drilling down to what drove me to make those decisions, or to say what I said, or to react the way I did. Like the conversation we had the other day, right, Nicole? I was saying to myself, I'm not going to overstep my boundaries because this person's in dire need of a friend. And the 5 whys really got me to the point where I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I needed her at one point, and it didn't. She didn't show up, and I'm not gonna look at it from like, what do you know? I'm gonna do exactly what you did. You didn't show up for me, but I went at it from practice what you preach. If this is the world you're living in and this is what you're practicing, then do it.
Because otherwise you would have fell back to, people pleasing or, yeah. And, when you were saying you asked yourself the 5 whys, something that I've done with myself is how, why, where, who, what kind of a thing. I'd ask, like, what am I feeling? And then try to connect, because it's nervous system regulating. And when you're doing your why, same thing. How is this impacting my rationale right now? Where is it coming from? Who triggered it?
Right.
And kind of getting through those layers again, guys, just another, it's same situation. You're still asking yourself questions. Just taking those couple of seconds to ask yourself those questions will take you out of fight or flight.
Well, and I think when you go from what am I feeling to why am I feeling this, it puts a little more accountability and self-awareness into your thought. Cuz now you're not looking what pissed me off. It's why am I feeling it this way? Cuz that what can turn into blame. Or
well, I look at it as more as like what's happening.
Yeah.
Right now. What is it trying to show me?
Absolutely. But you have practice with this.
Yes.
So when you think about somebody who's new to this, the why becomes more about the person versus anybody else.
Yeah, because I'm never trying to look at it as there's something with the person. I'm more so trying to look at it as what's going on in here.
Correct.
What are we ignoring? What are we evading? What are we not seeing? Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. And with that, we are at, Steph, are you doing that today?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, did we even do our reflection, or what are we calling it?
Stephanie's purposeful pause.
Purposeful pause.
Yep.
5 whys, Stephanie, purposeful pause.
Yes. So we are bringing back Stephanie's purposeful pause. I know you guys have missed it all week long, so we're going to hand it over to her. We'll probably follow up with reflection, and then we will almost close out for today because we've got busy days today. It's my anniversary, so, So Stephanie's purposeful pause. Take it, lady.
So, been out most of this week, and so I did do a little review on what was talked about Monday and Wednesday, just for myself, but to kind of bring it all together. So let's just take a breath. And there are moments on the spiritual path when we try to rise above what's uncomfortable, when we use light to avoid looking at our own shadows. That's spiritual bypassing. And then there are reasons when everything inside us feels like a battle, when we frame our inner tension as spiritual warfare, as if parts of us are enemies to be conquered. But if we pause right here, right now, we can feel something softer beneath both extremes. The parts we avoid and the parts we fight are often the same parts longing to be seen, longing to be held and integrated. They're not obstacles to our growth, they're invitations. Unity isn't found in escaping the hard things or defeating them. It's found in turning toward ourselves with honesty and compassion, in letting the light and the shadow sit at the same table, in realizing that every inner conflict is at its core a callback to wholeness. So let this moment be a gentle reminder: you don't have to transcend your humanity or battle your way to clarity. You can simply return to yourself, steadily, tenderly, and discover the unity that was never lost.
Nice. I like the sitting at the same table. Putting, not trying to hide them from each other.
That part. I know when you brought up the unity too, it made me think of, because like unity is like having boundaries is self-respect, right? So the unity within means that you're not going to people please, or you're not going to victimhood or fall out. You're going to be okay with having boundaries. You're not going to have peace from a place of, you're not going to no longer self-sacrificing. yourself. So when you were talking about this, it's very interesting about what we spoke about this week and how it all comes together. Really, when you think about it, because a lot of it at the end of the day is what you ignore is going to keep creeping up. So what you face and you honor is where
Mm.
your power really lies, is kind of where I feel I really grabbed a lot of that this week. And with the energy we're moving forward in, guys, that inner peace in chaos is going to be important, and those boundaries are going to be important. We're moving into a time where we're no longer going to self-sacrifice who we authentically are. We're not going to be able to. We're at a
Mhm.
turning point where there's no going back, and even with this Taurus season, we're at a turning point foundationally, um, of no longer self-sacrificing. So honoring that and how that unfolds,
Mhm.
and being okay with what falls away, and honoring that what falls away is creating space for what you want to allow to come in, right?
Right.
Um, so with that, wow, I feel like I haven't said this in forever with everybody all at once, but we're going to now turn to Tina's reflection time.
So I think what's important right before I go into the reflection is nothing about this podcast about rushing people through phases or stages or anything that they're going through. It's all about growth. So this reflection, I just wanted to make sure people understood that this is all about taking baby steps.
Oh yeah,
Um,
micro changes.
so we'll we'll use the same breath we started with Stephanie's purposeful pause. And as you move back into your day, notice the places where unity is already quietly present. The steady rhythm of your breath, the way your body holds you without being asked, the people who cross your path and remind you that you're part of something larger. Unity isn't a grand gesture, it's about remembering. Remembering that you don't have to split yourself into pieces to be loved. Remembering that connection is a practice, not a performance. Remembering that even in moments of rupture, there is always a path back to yourself, to each other, to the shared field we all belong to. So I invite you to ask yourself, where is unity calling you today? And what is one small, honest step you can take toward it? Let that be enough, and let that be the beginning.
I love that.
And we have a
Yes.
long weekend where people are going to be spending a lot of time with people they either like, hate, and could do without. And this might be the right way to start your weekend.
And to honor yourself too. If those people are shifting you out of your inner peace, be okay with shifting yourself out of that situation if it doesn't align with you. Remember, guys, we all have choice, freedom of choice. And in a society that never let us know that, we're here as a platform to always let you know that you have conscious choice in what happens in your environment. And that could be as small as you taking a stand on something that you feel is not feeling right to you, or removing yourself from people that don't align with you and being okay with that. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's going to be your cup of tea. And at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it is none of our business what people think of us, only what we think of us. And that
Exactly.
is the most human gift that we have been given. And that's true. If you feel like you're honoring yourself, then the world around you will do the same, because if it's not, you will have those boundaries, you will have those reinforcements that will keep you honoring yourself. And that's all right, guys. That's all right. So with that, beautiful souls, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I'm not gonna lie, so looking forward to spending time out on the property and
I'm
just
excited for a month off.
a week
Week.
off. A week
A
off.
month. I
Um,
heard a month.
I'm gonna say a week because that's what I meant.
All right,
But
well,
what
I
I was
heard a
trying
month,
to
so I'll
say
see you
is
in
that
July.
every month moving forward, we're going to take off at least the final week, so that way we can reset, recoup, and bring information back out to you that is helping you honor your journey at the end of the day. That's what all of these conversations are for. And if you guys are listening after, feel free to comment down below if there's anything that you're wanting a little more information on, or if you're wanting to connect individually with any of us. Like, please feel free to comment down below. We do not replace medical, professional, financial, any of those advices, blah, blah, blah. But we are just a good sounding board, supportive. And as I always say to you, beautiful souls, you guys woke up today. So your soul carries so much purpose on this planet. And if you didn't realize how valuable you are, I hope that you are hearing this now because you are valuable. You do matter on this planet. That is why you are here. You are needed. As authentically true to you as you can be is what will honor this planet truthfully. So go out there, have a good time. You're be careful. I mean, it'll be crazy and rambunctious out there, but live your lives. Love and light, beautiful souls. We will see you guys back here in June.
Bye.
Not
Bye.
June. June. Tina.
July.
June.
July 1st.
June. June. Okay. Love and light. Bye. I still don't even remember